Something feels off, doesn't it? You feel it, don't you? Something seems out of place. No matter what you do, it feels like you're stuck in the same patterns, living the same story, repeating the same mistakes. That's not a coincidence. Your mind is keeping you trapped, feeding you distractions, looping the same thoughts, convincing you that this is just how life is. But it's not. Because the moment you start questioning it, everything changes. And that's exactly why your mind fights so hard to keep you blind. But you're here now. So the real question is, are you ready to wake up? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might change your perception of reality forever. The invisible barrier, why you can't see the truth. Life feels like an endless loop, doesn't it? You wake up, do the same things, have the same thoughts, chase the same desires, and face the same struggles. But have you ever stopped to ask why? Why does everything feel so predictable? Why does it seem like you're living a script you never wrote? Why does every attempt to change feel like a battle against an invisible force? That invisible force is your mind. It is your most powerful tool, but also your greatest prison. Everything you experience is filtered through it. It decides what is real and what is not. But here's the scary part, that filter was not created by you. It was built by everything you've been told, everything you've been through, and everything you've absorbed from the world around you. Because of this, your perception of reality is not truly yours. It is just a reflection of what you have been programmed to believe. And your mind is not interested in the truth. It is interested in keeping you comfortable, keeping you safe, and, most of all, keeping things exactly as they have always been. It does not want you to question deeply. It does not want you to wake up. Because if you did, everything would change. But what would happen if you started to see beyond this filter? What if you realized that your view of the world is nothing more than a mental construct? If that thought makes you uncomfortable, good. You are starting to see the cracks in the illusion. Now, let's go even deeper. The mental maze, how your mind keeps you trapped. Imagine waking up in a massive maze, with no memory of how you got there. You walk through endless corridors, searching for an exit. But every time you seem to be getting close to something different, something distracts you. A noise, a flashing light, a thought about something you should be doing. You turn away for just a second, and suddenly, you forget where you were going. This maze is your mind. It doesn't want you to find the exit. It keeps you busy with distractions, fears, and desires. It makes you chase things that seem important but, in reality, only keep you running in circles. Have you noticed how certain thoughts and worries always appear just when you're about to be fully present? As if your mind were programmed to keep you from stopping and seeing reality as it is? That's not an accident. Your mind works like an invisible algorithm running in the background, repeating patterns of thought based on what you've learned in the past. Your fears. Conditioned. Your desires. Programmed. Your reactions. Shaped by experiences you don't even fully remember. The real you is buried beneath all of this programming. And as long as you stay trapped in the maze, reacting automatically to every distraction your mind throws in your way, you will never find the way out. But here's the secret, the exit isn't somewhere in the future. It's here, now. The moment you stop running, stop reacting, stop getting lost in the endless corridors of your own mind. So the real question is, are you ready to stop? The illusion of free will, who is really in control? You believe you have control over your own mind, don't you? That you make your own decisions, choose your thoughts, and decide how you feel. But try something simple right now, stop thinking. Did it work? Probably not. Because thoughts keep appearing, as if they have a will of their own. They show up out of nowhere, repeat in patterns, and influence your emotions without your permission. Now, think about this. If you were truly in control of your mind, shouldn't you be able to silence it at will? The truth is, your mind operates on its own. Your thoughts aren't chosen, they arise. Your emotions aren't consciously created, they simply happen. You don't decide to feel fear or anxiety. You just feel it and react. So if you're not in control, then who is? The answer is shocking: no one. Your mind is like a computer running old software, programmed by years of experiences, beliefs, and conditioning. You exist inside this program, believing you are in charge, when in reality, you are simply reacting to patterns installed into you long ago. But there is a part of you that exists beyond this programming. A deeper level of awareness that watches everything happening. The one that notices thoughts, that feels emotions, but is not controlled by them. That is the real you. And the moment you realize this, the illusion of control starts to break. But if the truth is so simple, why doesn't everyone see it? Why is it hidden? The answer lies just ahead. The truth hidden in plain sight. If the truth is so simple, why do so few people see it? Why does the majority remain trapped in repetitive thought cycles, making the same mistakes, feeling lost? The answer lies in the most powerful strategy of the mind: distraction. It keeps you focused on the past, reliving regrets, holding on to traumas, replaying stories that should have been left behind. At the same time, it drags you into the future, creating anxiety, making you plan, worry, and believe that happiness will only come when something finally happens. But the only place where truth can be found is the present moment. And your mind knows this. That's why it will do anything to keep you from staying here, right now. Social media, endless desires, pointless goals, comparisons with others, all designed to divert your attention from the only thing that is real, this moment. It's like sitting in a dark room, searching for the light switch. But instead of looking at the walls, your mind keeps telling you to stare at the floor. You search in the wrong place, unaware that the light has always been within reach. But what happens if, for the first time, you stop? If you don't react to every thought? If you simply exist for a moment, without trying to fix, judge, or change anything? Something incredible begins to unfold. The illusion starts to break. Because the truth was never hidden. It was always here. You were just looking in the wrong direction. Now that you see this, the next question arises: how do you escape the cycle? The answer lies in understanding the thought loop that keeps you stuck. The thought loop, how your mind keeps you stagnant. Have you ever noticed how the same thoughts keep coming back, no matter what you do? The same worries, the same doubts, the same internal conflicts. It's like a broken record playing on repeat. Even when you try to move on, your mind pulls you back in. But why? Because your brain is wired to keep you inside familiar patterns. It doesn't care about truth, it doesn't care about growth, it only cares about predictability. And to your mind, predictability means survival. Stepping outside of these mental loops feels dangerous, so instead of allowing you to break free, your mind feeds you the same thoughts over and over again. It's not that you want to keep thinking about past mistakes. It's not that you want to overanalyze every decision. It's that your mind has trained itself to replay these thoughts because they feel safe. Even if they're painful. Even if they hold you back. So what's the way out? You have to interrupt the loop. And the best way to do that is to become aware of it. The next time a familiar thought pattern arises, don't follow it. Just watch it. See it for what it really is, a loop your mind is running, not an absolute truth. And when you stop engaging with it, something unexpected happens. The loop begins to lose its power. But breaking free from the loop is just the beginning. Because once you start waking up, another challenge appears. Your own mind will start fighting back. The ego's defense mechanism, why your mind resists change. Something strange happens the moment you start waking up. Doubts creep in. A voice in your head whispers, "This is nonsense. This isn't real. I already know this. I don't need to change." But that voice is not you. It is your mind protecting itself. Because the moment you begin to break free, your mind senses a threat. Your ego, the mental construct of who you think you are, depends on keeping things exactly as they've always been. If you step outside of the illusion, if you start questioning the reality it has created, it starts losing power. And it will do anything to stop that from happening. It will distract you. It will make you overthink everything. It will create excuses to pull you back into your old patterns. Suddenly, you'll find yourself feeling skeptical, dismissing everything you've just realized. You'll tell yourself you're too busy, that this doesn't matter, that you'll deal with it later. But none of that is an accident. Your ego is built to defend itself at all costs. And when you challenge its control, it goes into full survival mode. It makes you feel restless. It creates fear. It even convinces you that this very moment of awakening, is just another passing thought. But here's the truth, waking up isn't comfortable. It's unsettling. It's disorienting. Because for the first time, you are stepping outside of the mental world your mind has spent years constructing. And when that illusion starts to crack, everything you once believed starts to feel fragile. But that's when you know you're getting close. Because truth is never complicated. It is the mind that makes everything complex. And yet, even after seeing through this, there is still something holding you back. Something deeper. Something more primal. It is the final barrier that keeps people asleep. The fear of letting go, why you cling to the illusion. Even when people begin to see through the illusion, something unexpected happens. Instead of feeling free, they feel afraid. There's hesitation, a sudden urge to cling to the old reality, even when they know it no longer makes sense. Why? Because letting go means stepping into the unknown. The mind would rather keep you trapped in a familiar lie than allow you to explore an unfamiliar truth. It doesn't matter if your thoughts are negative, if your patterns are destructive, if your life feels like an endless cycle. At least inside that cycle, everything is predictable. And predictability gives the illusion of safety. So the ego whispers its final trick: what happens if I stop believing in my thoughts? Who am I without my opinions, my beliefs, my identity? What if there's nothing on the other side? And this is where most people get stuck. They start to wake up. They see through the illusion. They realize that their thoughts aren't real, that their emotions are just passing waves. But when the moment comes to take the final step, they hesitate. They tell themselves they'll think about it later. They distract themselves. They go back to the mind. Because even a painful illusion feels safer than the unknown. But here's the secret: the unknown is the only place where real freedom exists. Everything you think you are, your ideas, your emotions, your beliefs, are just layers. Beneath all of them is something deeper. Something real. Something that has been waiting for you all along. But you will never find it unless you are willing to let go. And if you do, something incredible happens. The awakening, what happens when you finally see the truth? At first, it feels like everything is falling apart. The way you saw the world, the way you saw yourself, the things you thought were important, all of it starts to crumble. And that can be terrifying. But if you don't run back to the comfort of the illusion, something extraordinary happens. Suddenly, your mind loses the control it once had over you. Thoughts still appear, but you don't get lost in them. Emotions still rise and fall, but they don't overwhelm you. The constant mental noise that ruled your life starts to quiet down. For the first time, you realize that you were never your thoughts. You were always the one watching them. And once you see that clearly, the illusion breaks. Fear loses its grip. The past and future stop controlling you. Because you understand, on a deep and unshakable level, that the only thing that has ever been real is this moment. So what happens next? How do you live after awakening? What does life look like once the illusion is gone? The answer is not what most people expect. Living beyond the illusion, what comes next? Many people think that awakening means abandoning everyday life, becoming a monk, or living in isolation to reach enlightenment. But that's just another illusion. True awakening doesn't take you away from life, it brings you fully into it. The difference is that now, you are no longer trapped. Thoughts still appear, but they no longer control you. Emotions still come and go, but they don't define you. Pain happens, but it doesn't consume you. You still live in the world, but without being enslaved by the invisible forces that once held you back. This doesn't mean you stop feeling or acting. You still make choices, face challenges, experience joy and sadness. But now, everything happens without attachment, without fear, without the constant pull of the mind. Your mind will still try to drag you back into old patterns. It will test you. It will try to make you forget what you've seen. But now, you recognize the game. You see the distractions, the conditioning, the illusions for what they are. And because of that, you no longer fall for them. This is real freedom. Not theoretical, not philosophical, real, living freedom. And once you taste it, you can never go back. The most important choice of all is in front of you. But there's something even deeper. Will you let your mind drag you back into a time that doesn't exist, waiting to be seen? Or will you finally wake up and live no matter how many thoughts have come and gone? Because if this shifted your perspective, the part of you that never changes, there is something even deeper waiting for you. There is something within you that has never changed. But you have to choose. Think about it because your mind will do everything it can to pull you back into the illusion. There was an awareness inside you. So before it convinces you to look away, what comes next? When you grew up, that same awareness remained. And now, after all the experiences you've had, after all the thoughts that have passed through your mind, after all the emotions that have risen and faded, that awareness is still there. That is the real you. It's not your personality, because your personality has changed over time. It's not your beliefs, because they have evolved. It's not even your memories, because some have faded and others have been distorted by time. Everything you thought defined you has transformed. But that silent awareness, the part of you that simply watches everything unfold, has always been the same. It was there when you felt joy. It was there when you suffered. It was there when you were lost in thought, and it is here now, as you listen to these words. But for your entire life, you have been identifying with the changing parts, your thoughts, emotions, fears, and desires, as if they were who you are. You got caught up in the mental noise, forgetting the one thing that has always been constant. But now something has shifted. For the first time, you see that you are not your thoughts, emotions, or even your beliefs. You are the one who perceives them. And the moment you fully recognize this, something incredible happens. The endless struggle, the fight to control your mind, the resistance against emotions, the search for peace, all of it ends. Because you realize you were never lost. You were never broken. You never had to fight for peace. It was always here. It was always you. But if the truth is this simple, why doesn't everyone see it? Why do most people stay trapped in the illusion? The answer lies in the greatest trick of the mind, distraction. The distraction trap, how your mind keeps you from seeing this. If the truth is so simple, why don't more people wake up? Why does the majority stay trapped in endless cycles of thought, stress, and illusion? The answer is distraction. Your mind is constantly feeding you something to focus on, so you never stop long enough to question the illusion. It keeps you busy with meaningless tasks, floods your mind with worries, and drowns you in a never-ending stream of new desires. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll focus on my inner self later, but right now I just need to solve this one problem. And then, when that problem is solved, a new one appears. It never stops. It's like a magician performing a sleight-of-hand trick. Every time you start to see the truth, your mind distracts you with something else. It's not an accident. Your mind's survival depends on keeping you asleep. Because if you ever stopped, if you ever truly became still, the illusion would begin to collapse. So how do you break free? The first step is to see the distraction for what it is. The next is to refuse to engage with it. The next time your mind pulls you towards something urgent, stop. Observe. Recognize that it's just another trick designed to keep you unconscious. Because the moment you do that, something incredible happens. The distraction loses its grip. And then, for the first time, you experience a glimpse of something real. Something beyond thought, beyond time, beyond illusion. But there is one final lie your mind has used to keep you trapped, the greatest illusion of all. The illusion of time. The illusion of time, why only the present exists. Your mind has convinced you that life happens in the past and the future. But stop and think, have you ever actually been in the past? Have you ever been in the future? Or has everything you have ever experienced always happened in the same place, here and now? The past is nothing more than a memory, a collection of images and emotions stored in your mind. It no longer exists. The future is nothing more than a projection, a mental movie about something that hasn't happened yet. It doesn't exist either. The only moment that has ever been real, from the beginning of your life until now, is this one. Now. But your mind doesn't want you to see that. It keeps you trapped in regret, replaying past mistakes, reliving old pains, keeping you attached to what no longer exists. Or it pulls you into anxiety, making you obsess over what's coming next, creating stress about things that haven't even happened yet. Anything to keep you from noticing the one thing that is real, this moment. Right now, in this very second, if you stop and simply observe, without judgment, without trying to change anything, what happens? Silence. Clarity. A deep realization that everything is exactly as it should be. This is the truth. You don't need to chase life. It's already happening. You don't need to search for peace. It's already here. You don't need to find freedom. You already are free. The only thing separating you from this realization is the illusion of time.